Well, I'm starting to lay out the pieces that I'm finishing and to get some kind of consensus on how this might work or lay out. And this is just laying flat on the table. I'm thinking that these bigger ones, I've got two of those. And so I thought three of those, one in the middle on each side, and then I could probably hang one or two with smaller ones in between each of those, and that would make it feel really full. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a look. There's the coat hanger, and I've got a shoestring, and I've got a silky scarf fabric that is my tie elements. And I'll show you this second one in a minute. The first one, you've seen most all the elements on that. I'll show you that. I had a piece that was already created, so I just used that. And then I made just a little, slow stitch collage little bitty one. And then that's my house. And then I had a heart printed that I just slow stitched around. And then the heart that I created, okay? So that's two hearts and a house on that one. And the Rat Quick, I have the little bird. I have a circle medallion. I have a collage on that. So let's take a closer look at that second one. Okay, let's take a good look at the second one. As I said, what I'm using is just a torn strip of a scarf that was long enough, and the top part here, I'm going to tear that down just far enough that I can use the two sides to tie it on at the top. Otherwise, it'll stay the same. The bottom piece I will tack so that it can't come up or off of the piece. But I'll leave a little bit of this finished edge down here hanging, okay? Now, you can see, let me turn it over, and you can see what I've done here. I've used fabric or ribbon, whichever one I had I grabbed. And I sewed the sides of those up the direction that these were going to run. And that made it easy. I have a channel to run whatever it is that I want to hang up through there. Now, what I will probably do is come back and once I get it finalized as how I want it on there, I will probably just make one tacking stitch through each of these so that they don't move, but they would be easily removed if I wanted to change out the elements. I could just clip the tacking strip, pull these off, run some more on, and tack those. And so if you want to change it seasonally or for whatever, or occasionally, then that would be very easy to do. Okay. All right. When I started out, I was thinking about making, all new pieces for this, and then I thought, now why would I want to do that when I have so many small pieces already made and in a little drawer? So I will be making a few because, for instance, I don't have a lot of birds. So I made this little bird here. And Karen Leanne Creates sent me a Happy Meal sometime back, and she included some beautiful leather pieces in there. And that made just a beautiful little bird and just a little doodad down here. And I'm going to be incorporating that leather in on a couple of more with different color birds. But I love that. Thank you, Leanne. And if you get a chance, drop over and tell Leanne I sent you. Karen Leanne Creates. Okay. And I believe the N is spelt with two N's. So Karen Leanne, Leanne Creates. Thank you. If you didn't catch that Happy Meal video, go back and catch it. It's just, you would not believe what that wonderful lady sent me to work with. And I have been putting bits and pieces into it of what she sent me into everything practically. Then this was a medallion, just a medallion that I created that just pretty, and I had this fabric, so just put it on that. That's just a very casual look there. This was just another piece of scarf, and I had this little bitty cluster that I made, and I put that on and then attached it to the back. So that made a very pretty runner, and also big elements, pretty big elements. And so I'll make one more with bigger elements, and then I've got to make a couple with this size or smaller probably to dangle in between so that everything doesn't cover everything else up in that sense. But isn't that pretty, and isn't that easy? Just so doable. And if you've been stitching very long, you have small pieces that you can just create one of these really quickly by using those. You don't have to create everything from scratch. But even if you do create from scratch, it's a fun project. Create a little along, and pretty soon you'll have enough to make one of these. And like I said, I have a particular space on a wall in my stitching porch area, and this is where this one's going to go. And I'll show you that when it's finished and hung there. What do you think? Isn't it coming along pretty? I'm loving it. I hope you are too. All right. Till next time, you know what to do. Stay scrap happy. Hello, and this is Linda, and you're at Icky Chic Designs. And I hope you're here because you're working on one of these home decor projects too. I'm really finding this one challenging, but so much fun. And what a scrap buster it is. We can use all our scraps, and we can also use all these little slow stitch projects that we've done in the past, the small ones, and we can utilize them in something for our home decor. Like these little clusters I've got here. And I'll be showing you some other ones as we go along and create this. But this is just a little cluster I had. So I got a piece of batting, and I covered it with this lavender fabric, folded over the edges, and basted it on the back side. Then I pinned on this piece of gauzy fabric as a background, and I will be stitching around the outside edge, and that will complete this one. So let's just get that done, okay? Let's ouch, stuck myself with a needle. Boy, is that a beginner mistake. But you know what? I don't think you ever stop making beginner mistakes. At least I hope that's the case, because it seems to be the case for me. I think I'll just do a straight stitch across, and just very simple, because I don't need any fancy stitching. I have this fancy little cluster here, and a pretty color, and that's all this piece really needs. So we'll just stitch it together. I hope you grabbed your project. We're going to be here a little while. It'd be nice to be working together. I made my first little harvest on my container garden. I'm going to upload either a short on that, or just put it as a little clip in one of the upcoming videos, so you'll have to hope you catch it. Don't laugh when you see my little harvest. But I'm excited about it. First time I've tried container gardening, but I can't get around a lot physically. I can't walk a lot, and so that is very doable for me. My husband made me several containers, and they're right out my back door on my porch there, and easy for me to get to. And I can still enjoy a little bit of gardening. And, as we get older, it's very important that we find ways to keep all the wonderful things that we enjoy in our lives, that we don't just discard them or give them up. We may not be able to do them the same way we used to do them, but that doesn't mean we can't tweak it or adapt it and still find a little way to do it. In our younger years, my husband and I both loved to garden, and we'd have an acre garden. And, we'd just grow everything in the world, and we both loved it. So now I'm down to containers, but at least, I'm watching something grow, and that's the miracle of it. And then eating something that you've grown yourself, that's just so much fun. Same way with our flowers. I have containers on my front porch that I can take care of, that I can plant and water and fertilize and take care of. Now my husband is still able to do his yard work, so he has other plants in the yard. And that's another thing we both enjoy doing together, is our plants in a pretty yard. We have a lot of things in common, and maybe that's why 60 years of marriage has always been an adventure, because we like doing so many of the same things. I haven't been able to talk him into slow stitching yet, but there's still a little time left. I might get it done. Today, it's so important that, that we teach the younger generation that relationships don't just happen. Love doesn't just come and stay without being nurtured, without being worked on, without growing, without maturing. And that love goes through many different stages, and you'll never know the fulfillment of it unless you reach all those stages. But that takes commitment, it takes hard work, and it takes endurance, it takes forgiving, it takes understanding, it takes so many things. It's a work in progress all the time. But if that relationship is important to you, is there any other area in life that is worth more of your effort than that? And that spills over into your relationship with anyone, family, friends, co-workers. It all takes work. Okay. I love this color. Isn't that a beautiful lavender? Just so pretty. Have you caught my craft room organization video? Oh, don't you feel sorry for me? I don't like organizing, but I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I don't have a large space anymore, and years ago I had a whole room, large room, 2 big closets, 2 walls of windows. I just had a beautiful craft room. But as we got older, that bigger house was just too hard to maintain. So my craft room went with it when we sold it. And so now I'm sharing a guest room with a twin bed and a dresser, just in case someone drops by. Not too many people stay over anymore, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But it's also a good napping place when I'm crafting and I just get tired and want to take a little nap. But so I just have 3/4 of a good-sized bedroom with a walk-in closet, but still. And but in the video, I explain how my craft stuff got in such a mess. And of course, I made it sound really good, like it was not my fault at all. But anyway, I will be going step by step through. And first of all, cleaning and organizing all my containers and drawers. And then my husband and I are working a little at a time on my stitching porch. We have come to kind of a standstill till we get a little more money. We need to finish the floor in some way and get some furniture. But it's still a work in progress, and once that's done, I can spread out a little bit more. And but meantime, if I get all my containers, drawers, shelves, all that stuff organized to where I know what I have, when I get ready to actually design my space in there, it will be half the work will already be done. It's not that I want to spill over all my craft stuff there. I'd like it to just be a very comfortable place to sit and stitch and chat, and a place my husband can feel comfortable and he can sit and talk to me while I'm stitching. And I can invite friends over that like to stitch, and we can have a little stitching group there. And I'm really looking forward to that. Wish you were here. We could do that together. But believe me, I have lots of containers and drawers to clean out. I did get started on a small one over my desk, and in my first video, I didn't actually show the whole area that I'm working in right now, but I do have that videoed, and I will be putting that in one of the videos so you see what I'm actually starting with right now. It's not glamorous by any means, but it works. And one thing about us crafters, we can be in a closet, we can be in a cubby hole, we can be under a staircase, or we can be in a huge studio. It doesn't matter. We can still create. Okay, I have that stitched. Let me get that tied off. I'm going to bring it through to the other side. And I'm going to run this needle up through here. And I won't have to create a knot. again, these things are not going to be washed and worn and things like that. So some of the things that you would have to do for those type things, you don't have to do with this. Okay, let's see now. I'm going to trim a little up, and then I'm going to see if I can fringe it. Let's take it off, just a ooch. Okay, let's take that down. Now let's see if it'll fringe. Yeah, that's what I love about gauzy fabric. It just distresses so well. I will be saving those. They go in my thread bucket up here. Okay. I've always enjoyed pulling threads and fraying things. When I was a little kid and I would be with my grandmother or aunts, whoever was sewing, that's one of the things they let me do. If they needed something fringed, I got to pull the threads. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, how many times do you get to pull threads and fringe things when you're a kid? I mean, you know, most of the time they're yelling at you, don't pull that thread, you know. Okay, good threads. Okay, all right. Isn't that cool looking? I love it. Now, let's see what we're going to put on the back of this. Let me see. It's in my drawer here. I have some of this craft ribbon here that I've never used for anything. Let's see, this will hang like this. So what I do is I just cut me a piece that is the length approximately of the back. There you go. And then center it up and pin it in place. Because this is going to become the channel in which we thread our hanger, whatever we're going to use for a hanger. And if you saw the other videos, you saw I used a shoestring already and a piece of gauzy scarf fabric. And I don't know what I will be using next, but this will be the channel, and it just makes a nice, neat way to do that. And you can just sew the two sides, leave the top and the bottom open, and you don't go all the way through. You just catch what's on the back side, and remember there's batting between all this too. Okay. You do a straight stitch like I'm doing, or you can do an overcast stitch. And while you're doing it, keep adjusting your little thing here to keep it straight. You don't want it going crooked on you, or it will make your little piece here hang crooked. I think I'm going to go and do the overcast. It's easier to get through this. Does it matter if you change horses in the middle of the race? No. You can go from straight stitch to overcast, back and forth if you want to. There's no crafting police around here, and I won't tell anybody. Yeah, do whatever you want to do to make it work for what you want to do. That's 90% of design, is having an idea and then trying to figure out how to implement that idea. Most of the time, it's something you've never done before, so, you know, you just try things. Like I said, I've never made this before. I didn't know how people hung it, but so I had to figure out something for myself, and this little method that I'm using is working very well, and everything is hanging easily, and I'm just using scraps of old ribbon that I wouldn't be using for anything else probably, and so everything's working. Like I said, it's a great scrap busting project, so don't throw away your scraps. You can see how little some of these scraps are in here for this little cluster. And all kinds of textiles and fabrics. Mix them up. Okay. All right, this one's on the back, so we'll go ahead and put us a little knot there. Get out of there. Okay, so there's our first element on our next dangle thing. I love it. Which way do I want it to hang? I think I want it to hang that way. Isn't that cute? Love it, love it. All right, what are we going to do next? Let's see. I have this little piece that I made sometime back. Isn't that cute? It's actually double-sided. Which side do I want to use? I think since I'm working in purples, I'll use this one. Okay, but first of all, we have to have a piece of something to go there. Let's see what I might have down in here in my bucket. Oh, I have all kinds of stuff, but let's see, some of that's just too little. How big is that? Is that long enough? No, that's not long enough. Okay, I have to dig a little deeper. Okay, I found something. This is some green gauzy fabric. Can you tell I like gauzy fabric? You know, I use it every chance I get because it just is beautiful stuff. I just need some to wrap over. Okay, scrappy-doo. Let's just fold in our sides. Then fold in our top. Got a little longer pin here. that worked out pretty good. Now let's try this one. And this one. And this one. Got it down there. Let's see if we can get it down there. Okay, here we go. Okay, we did it. Now we just need to baste that. I think that's going to be a good backdrop for that, don't you? I sure do. Okay, let's just baste it. We still got purple on here. Since it's not going to show, we're going to use the purple. We're just going to baste it down so that it stays out of the way. Just go through the batting, but not all the way through to the front. Oh, okay. Let's come up beside this pin. Let me take that pin out. Okay. I'm pretty sure I haven't, yeah, I haven't gone through. That's good. Take that pin out. Okay. Stretch those back out. Okay, we're coming around the home stretch here. Okay, down beside this pin. Just catching the batting. Get that pin out of there. Okay. Straighten it out and go the rest of the way. Do you talk to yourself when you work? Yeah, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself because I do that all the time. I talk myself through everything. I think that you develop kind of that habit when you work alone a lot. You just talk to yourself because there's nobody to talk to you. Let's just tie off here. Just make them, I don't have to have a knot, just run it down through there and cut it off 2 or 3 times. Okay, let's see. Very good. Very nice. Now, we have to have our little... Now we want to, before we cover the back side, we want to get this sewn on. And then when we cover the back side, it will cover all our stitches. This was a dangle. It's the reason it's actually on both sides here. You know, do I want to use it that way? Because I could use it as a short on one of the other ones because it is double-sided. I think I'll rethink that and think of something else to use. Let me get a soft embellishment drawer here that I just got through organizing. What do I have in here that I could use? That's probably too big. These are probably too big too. Maybe, oh, that's kind of pretty, isn't it? I do like that. It went with that green just very well. What do you think? I like that. I do like that. Do we want to add anything else to it? I think it's really sufficient the way it is, don't you? I do. Let's just do that. All right. I'm going to try not to knock you around here. I'm in a tight zone. Yes, I do like that. Now, what color? I think we'll stay with the brown. Do I have any brown? Well, I have a rusty brown. Well, let's just go with that. I'm using my scrap threads. That'll be all right. There's that warm color on there, so that ought to be okay. Okay, let's see. I love being able to use up things I've already made. This is just such a wonderful project for that. I have tons. I have tons of stuff already made. You can't do videos like I do all the time and or what I've accumulated over the years and not have tons of stuff. But then you don't want them sitting in drawers forever. Put them to use. What a great home decor project to be able to do that for. But if you're just starting out and you don't have stuff, then make stuff. That's fun too. I call it stuff because so much of what I make doesn't really have a designated destination. It has a faint one. I know I'm going to use it for this or that, but sometimes I don't know exactly what this or that is. I'm just making little stitches here to kind of get this out. I think I want to go up there and tack that down just otherwise we'll lose the entire effect of it. Let's just make a little double stitch here. 1, 2. Okay, come back down into this. Linen. I love working with linen too. Linen and gauze. Beautiful fabrics to work with. I'm not a rich person, so crafting supplies have, I never could just go out and buy everything I wanted. I had to find thrifty ways to accumulate items and accumulate over years. And I do have a lot of stuff, but I use it, and you wouldn't believe how fast it can deplete on you. And so if you just keep accumulating, but as you get more experience, you become more discerning. You don't just get anything and everything, but you get the things you're really going to work with. And I say a little more experience because if you're new to crafting, sometimes you don't really know what it is you want to work with, or what is your favorite fabric, or what are your favorite threads, or just, things like that. So you just but you will learn over time. And then you start being more of a discerning collector. And when you end up in your old age like me, you just have drawers and drawers of things to play with. And when you're older and you're on a limited income, it's nice to already have a collection built up over the years. And and I've been fortunate enough that I've had a couple of really nice Happy Meals sent to me that's given me so many pretty things to work with. And it's really been nice to have something different. I so appreciate that. I don't waste anything. I may not use it quickly, but I will use it. And it'll find its way in all kinds of things. Okay, we're about to get this stitched down. And that stitching doesn't really show much. That's good. Again, we didn't want the stitching to be the focal point. And we are going to tie that off in the back. Okay, where'd that string come from? Get him out of there. Okay. Okay, we've made a second one. Now, what I will do is I will put a backing on the back of this like I did this piece. Then I will sew around to attach that. And then I will put a piece of ribbon down the center of that. And this will be another piece to hang along the next dingle we make. Okay? All right. Now, the next one I'm going to make for this one is going to be this. This is pretty good size. So we might position it something like this on our dangle. This is a little landscape. It's not finished yet. And this was a little piece, got a little house. And I thought, well, instead of putting a house on there, let me put the whole thing on there. I'm going to do it something like that, okay? So when you see the next video, when I have completed this dangle part, you'll see this, all right? But it is going to be constructed much in the same way as these are. All right, I hope you enjoyed this and that you are inspired and that you're going to make one. And if you do, and you have any way to show it to me, I'd love to see it. If nothing else, you can email it to me, and my email address is in the description below the video. So until next time, let's all stay scrap happy.